Hey folks, it's Rod with Win by Doing coming to you today. I'm going to talk about best offer. I don't know if you guys have noticed, and I'm not even sure when it started. I know I've seen it within the last couple of months, but best offer is not only available during a buy it now bin price or listing, but also on your auction listings. And just talk a little bit about how I handle it, because I do offer best offer on quite a few of my listings. Anything of substantial value, I guess. If it's anything under, $10, $20, I typically don't put best offer, because I just want to maximize the profit that I'm going to be able to get on those items. And a lot of times it doesn't leave a ton of room to play around with offers. But just starting out on the one that we know most about is the buy it now listings. My recommendation is, when you put best offer on there, know the very lowest that you would accept for that item based on your cost, based on fees. Know what the bottom line that you're going to take, or that you would be willing to take on an item. And that'll kind of not only give you an idea whether you're going to put the best offer on that or not, but it will also prepare you for when the offers come in. When you do a best offer, I do recommend that you respond to every offer, even if it's a low ball. Everybody talks about the low ballers. I respond to every single one. Let's say I have an item that's $40 and somebody comes in with a $10 best offer. I'll come back with $35 until they want to get real. But I keep that communication open, and not just throw away the potential of a sale, because a lot of people are just going to fill you out. I mean, even when you're out shopping, you're typically out there trying to find the best deal that you possibly can, and that's what these customers are doing. Their intention isn't just to piss you off. Their intention is just to see, open up the communication, throw a number out there just to see where you come back. And like I said, typically whenever I get what we call a low ball offer, I will come back with something just below my asking price and see if they want to come back with something real. If they don't come back with anything at all, or decline that offer, so be it. I'll wait for the next guy. But there are often times that they will come back with something a little bit more realistic, and then you can make that decision, whether they met your lowest acceptable price, or if you want to play around just a little bit more. So that is best offer on buy it now listings. Let me know how you guys handle buy it now, best offer listings, and what kind of strategies you use. I'd love to hear how everybody else is doing out there in your own business strategies. The next one is auction with a best offer. If you haven't heard of these, basically you set an auction, you put that you accept best offers on there, and one of two things are going to happen. Either somebody's going to make an offer, and you either accept it or decline it or counter. Handle it just like any other best offer scenario, or somebody's going to place a bid. Now, if somebody places a bid, it will null and void any offers out there. Automatically decline those offers once that first bid rolls in, and then no other best offers will be accepted. I just listed a camera, and I listed it for $99, and this is a scenario that came back. I got quite a few offers. Two of the offers were $120. So it was more than the lowest bid price. But I think more than likely it was valued. This particular camera, I think, had the potential of going up to just over $200, but I did not know that for sure. I mean, there's a risk element when you're putting things out to auction. On any given day, you can, drive a premium price, and then a week later, you get one bid. So I will tell you there was a little bit of anxiety set in when I had the two offers at 120. I countered back at them at 175 just because these two offers came in within the first 8 hours of listing the item and putting it to auction. I also got some, $56, $60. I got a couple of low offers as well. Basically, I responded to each of them after the first $120 offer. I responded. I've already gotten I counted them back at 175. I said I've already gotten bids of 120, and I've countered everybody else back with the same thing. Now, like I said, that particular item had the potential of going over $200, just over. So that's kind of where the anxiety set in, because you're like, do you want to hold out for $200 possibility on an auction bid, and on the low end you might only get your $99 first bid. I had 8 watches on the item, so I think I would have still gotten up to the 120, but there was no guarantee of that. So I sat there. I said, you know what, I'm gonna wait on it for just a little bit and see what happens. I finally got a response back from one individual at 150, and then that made me even think even more. Okay, this has to be a desirable item, but there's still that chance of it not even getting to that point. Now, just to put it in perspective, I paid $6.50 for this item. I bought it at an auction with another similar, but this was a very unique item. I've got pictures of it in my in my Facebook page or group. But I also I'll be covering it in a haul video hopefully tonight or tomorrow. It just depends on how much I get done today, because I got some stuff to do over at the rental. That's where I'm heading now. But the interesting thing, the difference between the two strategies is when you put a best offer on auction, I think your mentality is, or at least mine was, what is the very minimum that I think that this would go to auction, and then add a percentage above that just to give room, to counter back and forth. Always go back higher than what your minimum is. The minimum you think you're going to get for that item at auction. That way, when they come back and counter, it gives you room to counter one more time. If I would have countered back at 150, because I thought that was the very minimum that I thought, my threshold that I thought it would have gone for. If I would have came back at 150, they would have counted even lower than that. So it didn't give any room to play there. So that's why I came back at 175, and I did accept 150. But there's still that whole thing of, but it could possibly get up to over $200. I just sitting back and thinking, okay, this is what I paid for the item. I paid $6.50. Am I really going to be greedy in my mind and try to hold out for $200 and possibly get one bid at 99, or just because I had two different offers at 120, I think it would have at least gone to 120, but it's not a guarantee. So my thought process, and I'll have to be honest, I talked to my wife, and she's like, just take the money and run. And I'm like, you know what, that's the way that's where my mentality should be. Profit is profit. Try to maximize your profit and try to calculate some risk in there as well, and determine if the risk is worth holding out. And to me, it was just like, man, I already made a killing off of this. I paid it for all my sourcing of the, half my last. I had a huge haul last week, but I'll pay for half of my auction haul last week, so everything else that came from that haul is pretty much, pure profit. So, when you're going back to look at the best offers on buy it now listings, what I do is I look at where before we were looking at the minimum that we think could possibly go to auction. When you're doing buy it now, you're looking at the very minimum that you would accept, still making profit after fees and cost of product and your time. So, take that into consideration. Let me know how you guys handle it. Let me know if you've ever used the auction with the best offer, and love to hear your comments down below. This evening I am going over to install some deadlocks on the rental, and I have to take some pictures for we're trying to get insurance quotes, so they want to see pictures so I don't get screwed over on my insurance premiums. And I'm going to be measuring 4 transition strips. Just an update. I know last week I told you guys I had a deadline to get that house done. From the time I posted that last video on updating that house, we got everything painted upstairs. That included replacing a light, a vanity sink in the bathroom. I covered up wallpaper and textured the walls in there. I covered up the big hole in the bathroom where the old medicine cabinet was, and textured and finished painting there. And I got all the floors installed. And the only thing I did not, we put all the toe trim around the entire interior. There's some issues with it. We use white trim because in the kitchen and part of the hallway in the bathroom we did a gray baseboard and kind of a white with a gray tone paint on the walls. So we went with the white toe trim throughout the entire house. Well, the problem was that the rest of the house, so the living room, dining room, was all, and part of the hallway was wood, a dark wood. So the white trim kind of looks a little bit off place, but you know what? Sooner or later we'll get over there and paint that trim as well. But that is an update. This is a new journey for us, becoming slumlords and renting out a house. But we're looking at possibly picking up another rental soon, just something we're planning for. So it is another interesting adventure for us. I know it's like, do I need more stuff to do? Well, as I mentioned in previous videos, I'm really starting to focus more on farming a lot of this stuff out. But yeah, anyway, like I said, comments down below. We'll catch y'all later. Peace out.